Lauren. Hi, thank you for meeting today to go over mental health strategies. As we think about mental health in the workforce, it has become a topic that is very hot for employers to be able to help connect their employees with different resources. Mental health resources can look very different and have lots of different direction that we can go in. So today I'm going to talk through 4 different strategies, or what I like to call buckets, that I've placed these different mental health resources in. First and foremost, I like to start with some statistics of mental health. So as you can see in our resource guide, we talk about 1 in 5 adults have experienced a mental illness. And then 71% of employees say having the right support for mental well-being at work is and will be important to them now and in the future. So this is really important for us to understand as leaders within each one of our organizations on how do we help address this. If employees are looking for this and they spend so much of their day at our workforce, then we need to be able to support them. And that support looks different in every organization. Some employers have EAPs in place. So I would encourage you to look at what your EAP is. Is your EAP a free EAP that's added on to maybe one of your ancillary lines of coverage, or do you have that standalone EAP in place where you know your employees have access to support in person, virtual, texting, and what those EAPs look like? So we can definitely dive deeper into the 4 different buckets of mental health resources. So that first bucket that I like to talk about are the point solutions. So these are self-guided solutions. So really think about an employee that wants to take mental health into their own hands, and they just want to access maybe different apps to read about it. So think about Calm or Talkspace, Headspace. So it's more like meditation and guidance on their own. They like to listen to it and utilize it when they want it. So access to this is a really great solution if your employees are taking it into their own hands to reach out and utilize it. What we see as a downside of these point solutions is that employees forget that it's even an available resource. So there are ways to sign up and have corporate memberships where either you can supply your employees with 50% off, or you guys can, as the employer, can pay for these apps. But there also are free subscriptions. They may just not be as big as the paid version. That second bucket I would like to talk about is presentations. So this is a really great way if you are working on building a culture of care in mental health and well-being. So you're trying to help your employees to just give them little tips and tricks on how to really think about mental health, and then show them that, hey, you as an organization want to bring attention to mental well-being and mental health, and just looking to educate employees on that. So we have lots of great vendors that can provide these different presentations on mental health. Some can just be one-offs, and then some are different series of presentations that you can do. The modalities that this can be done in, usually most commonly we see it done virtually, where the presenter is presenting, and then it is recorded, so that way you as the company are able to share that out to new hires and maybe anybody that missed that presentation. The next bucket, bucket number 3, is the text therapy and coaching. This is a newer style of what this generation is looking for within access to care. So text therapy is exactly what you're seeing here. It's texting with a licensed mental health therapist, and that access is 24/7. So where we've seen this really have success and be beneficial is in those manufacturing organizations that have 3 different shifts, or critical care such as firefighters, police, where they have different sort of hours. and they're constantly seeing different scenarios where maybe they just need to talk to somebody right then and there to get something off of their mind, and it be with a licensed mental health therapist, somebody that's just there to listen and be able to provide support. So we will talk about different vendors that provide this text coach, but this is a great way at a lower price point than the next solution that we'll talk about to be able to access care 24/7. So that fourth bucket, and I would say probably the most efficient bucket, is that digital and video counseling or traditional therapy. So think about how those traditional therapy EAPs used to work. So you would be able to call into your EAP, they would find you and give you a list of providers that are therapists and maybe accepting new patients, maybe not. But it would always be in person pre-COVID. So since COVID has happened, we have been able to see different modalities on the way of accessing care for therapy. So that's where you get that digital and video counseling piece. So we have lots of vendors now that can support virtual care. So meeting with a licensed mental therapist virtually for appointments, and you're able to look at and choose a therapist that you want to see, such as their gender, their age, maybe their nationality. So there's a lot of options to who you're seeking care from. And when you're looking at that digital and video counseling, there's now quicker access. So with that traditional therapy, what we were hearing and seeing is that employees maybe weren't able to get appointments for 4 to 6 weeks. Well, at that point, that crisis maybe has fizzled, or it's been pushed into the back pocket and it's causing other health concerns for employees. So the options to be able to turn to digital and video counseling, where now you can get appointments potentially within same day or within 48 hours of requesting that service, is a great asset. So on this next page, we talk about some of those vendors that we just talked about in each one of those buckets. And I show you what that investment or solution impact really looks like. And if this is something that you as the employer are interested in implementing, we have what that implementation timeline looks like, as well as that employer administration piece. I like to move towards the bottom, the text therapy and coaching and the digital and video counseling piece to talk through this, because that's where you're going to get the biggest impact and bang for your buck. When we're looking at text therapy and coaching, Joyages, Marquee Health, and Headspace are the 3 vendors that we see most commonly used for this. And we have direct contacts with all of these vendors to be able to reach out and obtain proposals for it. But just to give you some sort of estimates on what that price point looks like, it usually ranges between 75 cents PEPM to maybe $4 PEPM. So just a quick price range that this does fall under a PEPM rate. So whether your employees are utilizing it or not utilizing it, you as the organization would be paying for that. So that's why sometimes it is important to start with the presentation style. So building that culture of mental health and seeing what that feedback looks like within your organization. That is a lower price point to be able to start with. Those presentations can range anywhere between maybe $200 a presentation to a series of 6 presentations for $1,000. So that's a lower cost option than that PEPM rate to maybe start with, to see what works well within your organization and company. When we go down to the bottom, that digital and video counseling. So some of those vendors that we have seen put into place, CuraLink, Modern Health, Spring Health, My Strength through Teladoc. These are all what we like to call the new modernized EAPs, but they also have quick access to care. So if this is something that your organization is putting a huge emphasis on, where you know that you want to provide your employees with that instant access, it's what we call on-demand therapy. So when we're talking about Modern Health and Spring Health, it is a large investment. You're looking at potentially somewhere in the $40,000 to $70,000 price point range, but that's where you're with that cost is the on-demand. So employees are able to log in and right away be able to access a mental health therapist and have a session virtually at their time of need. With CureLink and My Strength through Teladoc, that is a new and enhanced way, a modernized way of an EAP. So that's when we're looking at an employer would pay a PEPM rate, and their employees are able to access 5, 6, or 8 sessions per topic. And that's including not only the employee, but also the spouse and their dependents. And some price points for those look anywhere between maybe $1.50 PEPM to $3 PEPM. So there's a different variety of cost for that bucket, but we definitely see the most impact of the solution with these 2 buckets, the text therapy and the digital and video counseling or traditional counseling. So that is it. And we are happy to help you find that vendor selection of what works for you guys in your organization.